Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About. This is me, Amin.
And this Alex.
And in today's episode, we're going to talk about something like even I am like mind boggled by. It's what you folks popularly refer to as Bitcoin, but actually it should be referred to as cryptocurrency because there's a lot of different coins out there. So I'm like super confused of what in the world is crypto, and why is it so expensive? And how are people making money out of this? So to answer all these questions, and I hope it's questions that you guys have as well, because I'm always on the fringes of cryptocurrency because I see like wow, people making like tons of money. I want to make money too, and then I want to go into crypto, and then it's like first you need a wallet, and then you need like a key, and then you need this and that and that and this, and I'm like okay, I'm just gonna stay away from that. So to answer that question, we have with us Aaron Tang, who is the country manager of Luno Malaysia, and he's been gracious enough to spend some time with Alex and I to answer all these questions about crypto and what Luno does with regards to crypto, what their role is in all this confusing thing. So I guess the first question I need to ask is, what in the world is crypto?
Hi guys, thanks for having me. So in a nutshell, cryptocurrencies you can think about them as digital assets. So digital assets, I think that is a better term because it means something that has value but is completely digital. Cryptocurrencies is a bit of the common term that you use. I guess you'll see it online, you'll see it speaking about with friends, but in the Malaysian context, digital assets, I think is probably the better word, and it also paints a better image in your mind lah. Without going into too much detail, cryptocurrencies, digital assets, they started with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is the most famous out of all these digital assets. It's been around for 12 years, and over these 12 years, more and more people have gotten involved. Big companies and institutions are starting to get involved as well. That's why you see the value has gone up over the years lah. And that's kind of where the hype coming from.
Yeah, but for me, it's all based on like this. I don't know. Okay, am I wrong to believe that it's based on speculation? And it opens up. Okay, the reason why they developed Bitcoin in the first place, or cryptocurrency in the first place, was because they want to decentralize money, or currency, so that people don't, or governments don't have like absolute control of how much currency value is. So it started out like a Robin Hood thing, where okay, we're gonna take value back from the corporates and the governments and put it back into the power of the people. So we want to make it balanced. So crypto started out like that, and then after that, after 12 years, right, I see, and I don't know whether I'm wrong or right, but I see a lot of people trying to game the system. So you have a lot of people in forums trying to pump and dump cryptocurrencies, like the different ones. And then, in all seriousness, the names of coins that you see that's available in the market is like, sure or not, like what, Dogecoin. Recently, we have the Wall Street Bet coin. We have Polkadot. So the two serious ones for me is Bitcoin, which is the original one, and then Ethereum. And that sounds even more complicated. So it's like, we have crypto, which you say is digital assets, which is like you say that sounds it's more interesting, but it's more confusing for me because to some people, digital asset is like social media accounts, like how many digital assets you have. So I'm like even more confused now. And then okay, I want to put in another element, which is blockchain. So I forgot already what my question is.
So basically, what's the difference between cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and blockchain? Like, what's the clear definition of that? Is it?
Okay, so Ethereum and Bitcoin are the types of
Cryptocurrencies.
Cryptocurrencies, and then blockchain is the technology that drives cryptocurrency. Am I right?
Yes, exactly. So if you want to think about it, blockchain is like the fuel or the technology that powers all this innovation. Cryptocurrencies, as you rightly mentioned, there's 6,000 over. There's probably more cryptocurrencies being built every day. Some of them are definitely scammy, if not outright scams themselves. And you also rightly pointed out that Bitcoin and Ethereum are the largest and I guess the most well-established ones. So I think for people to maybe picture it in their minds, you can think about digital assets, cryptocurrencies as a broad category of things. But within that category, for example, let's say there's a broad category of cars. Then you have the Mercedes and the BMWs and the Proton. So in the world of cryptocurrency, your Bitcoin is probably the BMW, and Ethereum might be like the Mercedes of the crypto world.
Okay. We didn't address the decentralized part, right? And that's the risky part. Okay, the reason why banks and all that are centralized, there's rules that govern all these things. Obviously, people can argue, yeah, the rules are for the rich, like what's happening with Wall Street Bets and GameStop, right? So some forumers are trying to like game the Wall Street people, and the Wall Street people are trying to put like laws against them, and so it becomes like a Robin Hood kind of thing there. But there's also a risk in like decentralized funds, because okay, today's at the time of recording today, one Bitcoin is $37,800. That's one Bitcoin.
Just 150,000 ringgit.
Yeah, and it's not impossible that tomorrow or right after this show it goes down to zero. The risk is tremendous. So why are people interested in why would normal people be interested in Bitcoin or crypto?
So I think the odds of anything going to zero, number one, is a function of how widespread it is, how many people are using it, how much people believe that asset has value. So I mean, when you do mention that Bitcoin could crash to zero, potentially, of course, it could happen, but the likelihood, we would say, is very, very small. It's the same thing, for example, like a stock, like let's say just choose your favorite stock. Yeah, technically it could drop to zero also if everyone starts panic selling. But again, the likelihood will diminish the more established, the more people are using it. So I think to address the points about centralization and decentralization, I'm not one of those people that say that, centralization itself is bad thing. I'm not one of those people that say, you have to go 100% decentralized, because for a lot of things, 100% decentralization doesn't make sense. What I will say is that there is a huge demand in the market, even among established institutions, even among people who've come from the traditional finance space, because they feel that for better or for worse, a lot of things can be dictated by centralized control, but Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, is something that still remains outside of centralized control. So I agree that a lot of people are in it to earn money, to build their assets. But I mean, I wouldn't say that is specifically a bad thing, because I mean, that's what drives innovation as well, because people want to grow their earnings, people want to advance their assets and their holdings, and they want to improve their lives. So yeah.
Okay, I guess you're right. Getting in it for the money is fine. But getting one Bitcoin for $150,000 is, for the most part, a lot of people's life savings, and the risk is definitely there. You talk about big banks and governments going into going into crypto. I think number one, they are more interested in understanding the blockchain technology and trying to like see how they can utilize blockchain to secure their assets or to secure transactions on their side. And number two is, it's kind of like counterintuitive. Not counterintuitive. It's like kind of like having big banks and companies getting into crypto and blockchain is like reversing the reason why all this started in the first place, which is to stick it to the man. So it's like, at the end of the day, decentralization is going to merge and become part and parcel of a centralization kind of tool,
Yeah, so I think the fact that something is decentralized out of centralized control, the fact that it is scarce, for example, let's just take Bitcoin, which is the in-demand asset for a lot of institutions right now. I think the fact that these institutions are coming in is a testament to the fact that they also feel that, if I'm investing in stocks, if I'm investing in bonds, I don't want all my money to be stuck there, because for better or for worse, let's say the government changes the policy, the interest rate goes up, I think that it's not necessarily at odds that even big companies, even big institutions want a decentralized asset, because they also see the value in it. I think it's actually a proving the use case, which is, people want something that is not. If people want something neutral, if I could say this, something that, for better or for worse, it is democratic. It behaves law by code instead of say behaving depending on the whims or fancies of politicians, for example.
I guess it's true, but I don't know, man. I'm not convinced because, okay, blockchain is developed by this guy or group. What's his name again?
Bitcoin is Satoshi specifically, right?
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Not,
Yeah.
but he developed blockchain and then Bitcoin, right?
Well, blockchain's actually been around since I think mid 90s. It was actually developed by other people. What Satoshi did is actually to implement blockchain in a very clever way to incentivize people to grow this system together. So that's the genius behind Bitcoin, actually.
All right. So my concern is, number one, I don't even know who this guy is. Nobody knows who this guy or group is. And how is it possible that something that lives in code have so much value? I mean, I don't know whether my question is basic. I because I cannot wrap my head around it. I don't understand how it works.
Understand, like for example, like currencies, right? It's tied to something like gold or something. At least there's something pegged to it.
Yeah.
But this is totally virtual.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who's controlling the value?
Yeah.
I know that's a concern.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I'm still at the fringes here. I guess by the end of the show, I should be able to convince myself or unconvince myself on investing in crypto. Yeah, I guess. Okay, my question. I think the question I should have started with, like, how in the world does Bitcoin is valued so much?
So it comes to the whole concept of supply and demand. And basically, it's the same thing for everything that's traded publicly, right? If there's a lot of demand for the asset, the price will go up. If there's less demand, nobody wants to buy this thing, the price will come down. So that's the same for, say, gold or silver or let's say the stock market of your favorite company. Now, the concern that you raised around how can something virtual have value is actually a very valid concern. And I think most people, apart from the decentralization thing that we talked about, I think most people actually struggle with this concept, which is how can something that lives on the internet have value?
Yeah,
Now,
it's
there's
like
actually
it's
a
like
couple
it's like
of-
me
yeah.
selling my Pokemon, like super rare Pokemon. Okay, then I guess it makes sense lah. Okay,
Making
I'm sorry to
trades.
interrupt you. So it's like if I get like a battle axe from like a super rare, it's like a super rare battle axe, right? I can sell it off because nobody else can get it. Is it the same thing?
It's down the same concept. It's down the same lines. Yeah, I'm assuming that you're a gamer. I mean, so I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use this gaming analogy. There's something in in like what you mentioned. Let's say you're playing World of Warcraft or you're playing Dota or something, and then you actually have a very, very valuable sword or shield or piece of armor. Now, it so happens that in today's world, everyone is only the people in the World of Warcraft may be able to trade this item among themselves. But let's say you had something outside of the game, but it lives on the internet as well, and it is also in demand, and people are trading, selling it, sending it to each other. So that's a simple analogy of what's happening with Bitcoin and crypto as well.
Okay, so the coin is super rare, and that's why it costs so much. Who controls the number of coins that's available in the market?
And also, there's also rules for different coins. Like for example, Bitcoin, there's a maximum cap of 21 million. So right now, I think 21 million coins.
The real beauty of the system, which is something that when I first learned about it, it pretty much blew my mind, is all the codes behind the Bitcoin network are open source. So all the algorithm, all the coding is on the internet free. Anyone can take a look at the code to see that the network is actually behaving as it should behave. So it's not like somebody is controlling it. Rather, that system is actually running open, naked. Everyone can look at it to make sure that it's operating.
This is the ledger thing, like this is the blockchain, right? Everybody can see the code and they can see how many coins are available, and
This is how it works,
And
yeah.
it's all attributed, meaning that you know who owns how many coins, and you cannot like go into the system and like, okay, today I'm gonna give Alex 10 coins, right?
I cannot print more money, for
Yeah,
example.
yeah.
It's fixed already.
Yeah.
Correct. But beyond just the blockchain, the actual codes of how Bitcoin functions itself, that's all open source. So it's not like there's a company controlling how Bitcoin works. Like, oh, tomorrow I want to decide to change the parameters of Bitcoin. No, all the codes are open source, meaning that anyone who has a bit of technical knowledge can actually go and look and make sure that actually that system is not being manipulated or controlled or inflated by anyone.
Yeah. Speaking of, because this is a cryptocurrency, right? And obviously the more tangible aspect to it is trade. But looking at the price, it fluctuates a lot. It doesn't seem to be practical to be used as a
Currency,
form of currency. Yeah. Like for example, if I buy something for Amin today, 150,000 ringgit, by the time I want to cash out to Malaysia ringgit, the price might drop to 120,000 and I'll be losing out. So it doesn't seem to be practical. So what's up with that? So will it eventually be something that can be as tradable as like US dollar or Malaysian ringgit?
Yeah, it's so volatile, right? So I can't buy like a Starbucks for like a quarter of a Bitcoin.
Maybe now 0.0001
Yeah,
coin.
yeah. So how would that work? I mean, why is it a tangible asset?
So we go back to one of my first statements is why I actually prefer the word digital asset versus cryptocurrency. Because when you say cryptocurrency, the image in everyone's head is that, oh, currency, I will be able to use it to pay for my Starbucks, I'll be able to use it to pay for my kedai runcit or something like that, right? Because the word currency there. But actually, if you look at the world of digital assets today, you rightly pointed out that the prices are volatile. It goes up and down. I would say it's still in the stage where people are actually investing in it because they're hoping for the price to accumulate over a longer period of time. Now, we look at statistics and maybe only 2% or 2.5% of the world's population today owns Bitcoin. So as it stands, to me, it doesn't make sense to use this as a currency today. It doesn't make sense to send and use it for transactions. But say 5 years, 10 years in the future, let's say 20% of the world's population uses it and the price has stabilized, then it might make sense for people to start using it. So I would say that we are not at that stage yet. It may happen one day, but the image that a lot of people use for Bitcoin is digital gold because they are investing in it for the long term. And if you take the analogy further, nobody is actually taking their gold and then like melting 1 gram to go and buy something, right? Gold is like they store it in the vaults, they keep it for the long term. And I think that's where Bitcoin is right now.
I'm kind of like maybe 30% convinced. I don't know. Okay, do you have any other questions before I go into like my basic noob kind of questions?
Yeah, I was about to go about going to that. So like maybe try to explain a bit like, how do you actually get Bitcoin and how do you keep it? How do you manage it?
Yeah, because I try to dabble in it again, and then I stopped because oh my god, it's so complicated. I gotta get a wallet, and then that wallet needs to be stored in my computer. And we wrote a story, right? Some dude like forgot the password to his wallet, and he lost like what $1 billion worth of coins.
300 million.
Yeah.
So wallet, I think it comes in different forms. So I think I'll let Aaron explain.
So the noob guy like me, I have 0 coins. I got some cash. I want to buy some coins. What do I do?
Yep. So the easiest way is to download an app. And there's tons of apps in the market for cryptocurrency investing today. But let's take an example of, say, the Luno app. Luno is where I work. And let's say Luno app, you just download it, install it in your smartphone or your Windows PC if you want to use a laptop. All you need to do is sign up for an account like how you would do for an e-wallet. So you just need to provide your name, your IC. Within 1 to 2 days, you should have an account. You just need to top up your wallet using Malaysian Ringgit bank transfer or FPX. And then you can actually see the balance of Ringgit in your wallet. After that, you can just click to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or another digital asset. And then you will already be owning your first Bitcoin. So that's the easiest way. I mean, there are much more complex ways, but yeah, let's go with the easiest one first.
Is there like a trade-off? I mean, like again, when I tried getting into it, it was super complex for me. And then suddenly you guys come in and Luno, you just download an app and then you can start buying stuff. What's the difference? Like, because I'm super skeptical about all these things. It's the same thing as like that Robinhood app, those trading apps, you know,
eToro
and stuff like that. It's like I feel like it's just a game. It just makes you feel like you're in control, but actually you're not. Because, for example, the trading apps, they allow you to buy shares, one share. Actually, in the stock market, you can't buy one share of Apple or you can't buy one share of Amazon. You need to buy like 1,000 shares. So something's up, right? I mean, like, why? If it's so easy, why wasn't it so easy when it started?
So if we look back about the roots of Bitcoin, again, this was all open source. This was all created by a guy. You actually had to have technical knowledge if you wanted to get involved in, say, Bitcoin, say 10 years ago. You actually needed to know some programming knowledge. You actually need to know how to write in commands into your laptop. Now, companies like Luno, we actually want to make this process easy and simple so the average person on the street can actually invest and get involved in crypto. Now, again, I say that we are the easiest way, but again, there are like multiple ways of actually accessing Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin. Again, if you have technical programming knowledge, you could even build your own app to actually store Bitcoin. So we are a bit of if you think about it philosophically, decentralized technology, you're not even supposed to have companies to help you. You're supposed to do everything yourself. But I think most people will actually struggle. I know myself, I would struggle to program my own Bitcoin app. So I will have to work with a company who can provide me a gateway to Bitcoin and crypto.
And also, there are a couple of ways to buy Bitcoin. You could buy it from another person, so you can do a wallet-to-wallet transfer, and we deal by cash or by bank transfer. And there's also like peer-to-peer platforms out there. And Luno is also a digital exchange, but the difference is Luno is a regulated exchange, digital asset exchange in Malaysia. They're in fact the first. So maybe Aaron can explain like why is it important to deal with a regulated exchange? What's the difference?
So as you pointed out, Alex, there's multiple ways to actually receive or buy Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin is decentralized. If you know somebody who owns Bitcoin, you could meet him like at the street corner and you pay him cash and he sends Bitcoin to you. Technically, it can happen. But the risk is you don't know if he's a drug dealer. You don't know if that Bitcoin has been used in some like illegal transaction somewhere. So the benefits of using regulated platforms is, number one, you know that you're not dealing with shady characters, right? You know that the Bitcoin you're buying is not something from a child pornography or some kind of weird transaction that has happened. The second thing is a regulated platform has to go through a bunch of requirements by the governmental authorities, which in this case is the Securities Commission. So their top priority is actually investor safety. So before a company gets approved to operate in Malaysia in the digital asset space, you need to prove that you have security measures. You need to prove that, are your management team fit for purpose? Are they qualified to handle this kind of transactions? So the second benefit of regulated platforms is that you know that a level of security is there versus, say, you go and use a platform that's based overseas. And the third thing I think is perhaps the most powerful one, which is the question of what happens if there's an issue? What happens if something goes wrong? Now, if you use an unregulated platform from, let's say, Malta or China or, let's say, Seychelles Islands or something like that, what happens if you have a problem and the company doesn't want to help you? Are you going to go to their courts and sue them there? Whereas if you use a regulated platform here, you know the board of directors, they're listed on these are public documents. You know where they live. You can take them to court. You can make a complaint to the local regulator. So I think that level of, I don't know what you call it, but if things go bad, there is at least a legal recourse for you to do when you use a regulated platform.
Okay, I'm kind of like 50% convinced now. So is it like Luno now is like is like a bank? Are you guys kind of like a bank? So if I is it possible for me? Is it insured? Like, you know how banks, they have this insurance thing, PIDM, right? Where up to like what 250,000 ringgit is insured, or 25, I can't remember, but some amount is insured. So if suddenly that bank goes bankrupt, PIDM will pay that amount back to you. Is that what you're saying, Luno? So number one, Luno is easy. Number two, it's safe, it's regulated.
It's approved by Bank Negara Securities Commission.
Yep. And then is there like some sort of protection for like an investor like me?
So we're not at the level yet of say PIDM and the banks, because that's like a really really traditional industry that has had hundreds of years to come up with its regulations and frameworks and stuff. We're still in the stage of being we're still an investment, so there's no guarantee that, you know, if the price goes up, the price can go down. So there's no guarantee that you will always profit or anything like that. In terms of the, what do you call that, the PIDM guarantees, these are not in place in Malaysia yet. So I'm not gonna say that, you know, investing in crypto is not risky. It is on the high risk, high return kind of part of the spectrum lah. But yeah, I mean, I think as the industry matures, we've been around for 12 years, Bitcoin, crypto, digital assets. I believe as the industry matures, we will see more and more of this kind of protection stuff coming in, and hopefully more and more good regulations that will protect customers.
Okay, so I guess you're telling me now Luno is like a one-stop shop lah, so I don't have to worry about configuring a wallet. I don't have to worry about like different passwords and things like that. And can I trade? Like, can I trade my Bitcoin on Luno with other people?
So you can. We have what we call an exchange. So we are also a wallet, which means you can store. And we also have an exchange. An exchange means you can convert your Bitcoin to ringgit. And then using that ringgit, you can convert it to, say, a different digital asset. Now, there are 4 digital assets that are available in Malaysia, which is Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Litecoin. So these are the 4 assets that you can trade with Malaysia. Everything that we allow to trade needs to be thoroughly vetted by the Securities Commission. So sometimes people ask me like, how come you don't have like XYZ coin, or you don't have like 500 coins? But you know, we are a regulated platform, so that means we have some restrictions.
I see. Okay, so for me, it's like I was just wanted to ask you because I think after the show I wanna try to get a low risk, play the game low risk lah, right? So I want to buy some Wall Street bet coins. It's the cheapest right now, but it's the like fastest growing. So one coin is about 480 US dollars. So that's not available on Luno at the moment lah.
No.
Or is it available?
Actually, just going back to the concept of Bitcoin being expensive, you can actually buy 0.001 Bitcoin. So it's like as low as 3 ringgit if you want to start investing. So you don't actually have to come up with your life savings or anything. You can start really small.
I don't know, man. Owning I guess it's like owning 0.001% of a company lah, right?
Or like 0.1% of 1 kilo of a gold, for example. And then of course, the different currency got different values. Like for example, Ripple now is about 38 US cents, about I think 2 ringgit, less than 2 ringgit. Yeah, so you want to have the full amount, you can go for that. But of course, like we said, like 0.01% of Bitcoin is still a lot.
But Ripple is not available on Luno, right?
It is
so,
XRP.
is it?
Yeah.
Oh, XRP. Okay.
So the next question is, right now, looking at the price, right? Because the price of Bitcoin has reached like an all-time high, and now it's like 150,000 ringgit. Is it too late for new users like Amin to jump into the bandwagon? Because of course,
why me?
because the higher the amount, right, it's like, okay, there's high risk of it going down because there's a lot of waves for Bitcoin. Every year we can see a lot of highs, a lot of down. So is it still a right time to invest in this moment of time?
When it comes to like the right time to invest, I think this is it's every investor actually has their own timing. For example, I'll give a simple example. Like say somebody who is struggling with their home loan, doesn't really have much savings, doesn't have much other investments. Is it the right time to invest in Bitcoin? Probably not. Probably that person should work on like building their emergency savings and building up their low risk assets. Maybe they should buy some ASB or something like that. Now, if you talk about someone who has higher disposable income, somebody who's willing to wait for say a couple of years, interesting fact is that nobody who has ever bought Bitcoin and held for longer than 3 years has lost money. So despite the ups and downs, whatever, if you had bought at the peak in 2017 at 20,000, right now it's 35,000 something. So you would have still made money. So I think what we like to advise is if you believe in the technology and you're willing to hold it for don't try and like trade one 2 months and so like if you're willing to hold it for say 3 years 5 years longer, then I think it's still really early. Again, we go back to the statistic, maybe only 2 or 2.5% of the world's population have invested in crypto. A lot of people say that investing in crypto today is like buying, investing in a stock like say Amazon or Yahoo back in 1997. So I think it's still really early. But again, every investor should look at their own personal circumstances. This is not to say that, oh, everyone should go and buy out, because everyone has their own circumstances.
Yeah, I guess, okay, I think, okay, your explanation kind of puts things into perspective lah. So it's just like buying normal stocks. It's just like normal investing lah. You got to read the prospectus, which a lot of people don't.
And also look at the history, like look at the trends.
Yeah. You got to know what you're putting your money into lah. So basically, to clarify, this is not a quick get rich quick thing, scheme or whatever. And you're telling me that, okay, I'm just recapping what you're telling me. So from what I understand, right, you're telling me that this is here to stay. That's why banks and countries and big companies are looking into it. That's why Luno is here, to make it more accessible to people and kind of like more safe to noobs. And like any solid investment, you're not going to be able to expect returns in 2-3 days or 2-3 weeks. You're gonna probably wait for 1 or 2 years. And even if you are familiar with investment, and like you mentioned, like within that spectrum, a return of 1 year or 24 months is quite high, quite fast already. So it's a high risk, high yield game, like you mentioned, right? And I think, and if I understand this correctly, that risk is quite relative, like you said, right? And like how I asked you, that it could go down to zero today, but the likelihood of that is quite rare.
And also the likelihood of going further up is there as well.
Yeah.
So it's up to your priorities as well. So if you think that you're gonna leave it there, like they say, hold, leave it there for 5 years, don't think about it, you probably can get some returns. But you're looking for like a short, quick buck thing, maybe it's not for you.
Okay. My question to you, Aaron, how many coins you got? Not the one in your pocket, okay?
Not enough. Enough. I wish I had more, but don't we all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. If you and me were like chilling at some mama or some McDonald's, right? And then I know you work in Luno. Okay, Aaron, come on, give me like the elevator pitch. Why I should get into crypto and why I should go into Luno, and why I should use Luno to get into crypto.
Yeah. So I'm gonna steer away from the, everyone wants to get rich, right? We've already talked about, okay, if you're willing to invest for say 3 to 5 years, hopefully things will work out for you. I'm gonna steer away from the monetary aspect. I'm gonna steer it towards the technological aspect. Blockchain, digital assets, the whole world is moving towards the digital revolution, right? We've seen it, with the MCO, things are going digital. Online things have just boomed, streaming software, teleconferencing, everything is going digital. If you look at the traditional systems we have in the financial world, a lot of them are still very analog. These are stuff that comes from the 70s, 80s, and they haven't really improved very much. So I'm just saying that the world is changing to digital. Assets are going digital, and this is becoming mainstream. So, this is the time to at least explore it, to at least read about it and learn about it. And then, if you want to make your investment that is separate, that's belakang kira, but at least have a look into this technology and how it's changing the world, because I'm very confident that it will continue to just take the world by wildfire.
Okay, so like Luno right now is it's an exchange platform. It's also a wallet. But I believe that you guys also have shared that there are future plans for to support more coins. And I think one thing that's of interest to me is that Luno has plans to introduce a savings wallet in Malaysia. So maybe can you elaborate on that? Can we actually earn interest from Bitcoins?
Yeah, so the savings wallet thing was something that we had planned for a long time. Just to note that everything in Malaysia that we want to offer, it needs to be discussed with the regulators. So that feature is not available in Malaysia now. We're not certain if it will come to be allowed in Malaysia, but this is something that we're working on lah. And if we manage to make some progress there, we will of course inform everyone. Other things that we hope to launch soon are more coins. We only have 4 coins, whereas platforms have hundreds of coins, if not thousands of coins for trading. So this is something again that we are planning and working on. Again, everything that we do is highly regulated, so we do need to seek approval. Something else that we continuously want to work on is to make it easier to get your money in and get your money out from our wallet. I'll give you a very clear example. Before this, or rather before October last year, everyone had to use bank transfers if they want to top up their wallet. But in October, we introduced FPX. So I think most people are very familiar with FPX. FPX is an instant transfer mechanism. So that's been happening since October last year, and it's been a great success. So we're looking to see if there are other things that we can add to make it like really easy. For example, things we're exploring this may be something like, say, debit cards maybe one day, or maybe JomPay, or something that makes it really convenient for people. Again, these are all plans, so don't quote me if this doesn't come to market. But yeah, we're working
Well, you
on
just
these
said
things.
it, dude. I'm not quoting you. You said
Subject
it.
to approval.
Subject to approval, yeah. Everything's subject to approval.
Okay, well, I'm kind of intrigued now. So, is Luno the only such app available in the country?
So there are 3 that are approved in Malaysia. We are quite. It's a small space, and we're all working together to help grow the industry. So doesn't mean that you want to get started, you just have to go to Luno. There are also other alternatives as well.
I guess that's pretty much it from my side. Yes, the steps, right? So you mentioned I got to just top up the wallet and then purchase stuff from the wallet. It takes a couple of days to get to see the money in my wallet.
Oh no! Now with FPX is instant. It's
Okay.
like you when you top up with FPX, select your online account, log in, select the amount, then the ringgit is reflected straight away in your Luno account.
Oh, I think it's a couple of days to allow to transact, meaning that you can only start transacting after you've been approved or something. Is my
Correct.
understanding
So-
correct?
Of a first time user.
That's
Correct.
Is it?
So that's the verification. So you need to verify your identity. That can take, say, 1 to 2 working days. If you sign up on the weekend, you might need to wait until Monday lah. So that's just the a bit mafan part lah.
Hey,
It's
what happened to the digital world?
Because part of the eKYC process, so you actually have a human to verify the IC.
Sometimes we need a human to look at things. It could be automatic, but again, sometimes you really need somebody to take a look at the documents. And we know it's a hassle, but it is important because sometimes people try and use fake identities. There's a lot of shady stuff that people try and do. But yeah, for the honest users, it's not going to be a problem. So yeah, you just may need to wait for 1 to 2 working days.
I think it's not an issue for me. Like, call me old, but I like when humans are looking at things.
At least good, at least it safeguards the system from possible frauds.
And then cashing out, so I can cash out, right? So there's obviously I don't earn dividends from this. It's not like a normal stock, right? So it's just the value goes up, then it's up to you how much you want to sell and stuff like that. So that's where it's kind of different from like a normal stock investment. How long does it take for me to cash out?
So think about it like investing in, say, digital gold, because gold also does not pay dividends, but you can buy low and hopefully when the price goes up, you sell. In terms of getting your money out, the moment you sell, your Bitcoin or crypto is converted instantly into ringgit. When you hit the withdraw button, it takes 1 to 2 working days as well for the money to arrive in your bank account.
Oh, that's great. Like some e-wallets takes like weeks and months.
Yeah, it's quite instant. Of course, like buying shares, there's always like a transaction fee involved.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a transaction fee.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Oh, there is a catch. So Luno is free to use, but then when you transact in or transact out, where are the fees?
So the fees are when you buy and when you sell the cryptocurrency, then we take just imagine it like a brokerage fee. We take a small transaction fee to help facilitate the transaction.
What's the range for that?
So the range, it can go from as low as 0% up all the way up to 2%, depending on which function that you're using within the app. For example, if you want a really quick, easy, simple, instant way to buy, that will cost you 2%. However, if you're willing to go to the more complicated exchange product, you can queue up your order, and if you're trading a lot, you can get fees as low as 0%.
Oh, so you're telling me I can set the price as well and everything, and it will be all automated for me? Okay, so
Exactly.
it's kind of like a stock exchange, but not like a stock exchange. So it's like a bit of both worlds.
There's an automation involved if
Yeah.
you want to play that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, if you go into the exchange, you'll see that it looks pretty familiar to your stock market trading app as well. There's trading view, you can do all the TA if you want. So yeah, I mean, if you're an investor, you will not feel out of place at all.
Okay, well, I'm not an investor, but at the end of the show, I got Luno on my phone here. I don't know whether you guys can see it. Not on my phone, but I'm gonna install it lah. And then I'm gonna try and play around with it. I guess it's fun lah. I mean,
Yeah. So one thing that I just want to share as well is when you sign up, you don't even need to transact. You can actually go to the learning section. Like, you just download the app and you don't need to like pay anything. Just go to the learning section. Plenty of videos, articles to keep you entertained and also to start learning before you actually want to take your first step of buying.
what's that thing when people start investing? Like some apps, they give you like a I don't know whether it's called a sandbox or something. It's like
Like a virtual environment.
like a kiddie account that I can play around with.
We don't have that right now, that trial account feature. I mean, it's something that's interesting. Personally, I've thought that would be cool if we implemented it. But I think where we come from is that, the minimum amount to test with is like 3 ringgit lah. So even if it's not, say, 100% simulation, 3 ringgit is an amount that people are, I guess, okay to start experimenting with lah. So that's kind of the thinking today. But I mean, in future, if we can build that feature, that would be amazing as well.
Okay, so 3 ringgit minimum to play, and then let it incubate for a couple of years, and then come back, right? But I think it's backed by Bank Negara. I guess it's fairly low risk. If anything happens, you can always cash out, not a problem.
So we're not backed by Bank Negara.
I just said the wrong things.
Certified.
Yeah, we are approved by the Securities Commission, and the technical term is we are reporting institution to Bank Negara. So we do need to report on monthly statistics to Bank Negara, and if there's people using our platform for the wrong things, like people suddenly want to use our platform to say child trafficking or something like that, then we will make reports lah. Yeah.
Okay, one last question. Any advice or tips to newbies like me that really is interested in getting involved?
Yeah, I would say start by downloading the app and exploring the the learning sections first, because again, there's no commitment here, nothing, just let's explore, look around. And then, if you are okay to experiment with a small amount, say 3 ringgit, 5 ringgit, what I found is that if you actually have skin in the game, if you have that little bit of stuff, it actually encourages you to learn and try and experiment and learn more. Whereas if you read about it at arm's length, then you may not be so motivated to learn more about this technology, etc., etc. So yeah, I'm sure, if you're okay with, say, consider that tuition fee of, say, 3 ringgit or 5 ringgit, just get started and experiment and go from there.
Yeah. So your tip is get your hands dirty lah.
Yeah, I mean, start small, and the best way to learn is experience, of course.
Right. Okay. So Alex, do you have any other questions?
I think that's about it. For me, quite clear.
Yep.
For me, the way I treat it is like this. Like, for example, I know some people out there who buy 4D, they spend like $10, $20 just to burn money, just for fun. So
they don't get anything back.
You don't get anything back. If you lose, you don't get anything back. But this one, at least you have some value there.
Yeah.
So at least if you think of it as a long-term investment, like similar to how you play stock markets, well, it's something viable. But of course, it's going to be for the long run for the next couple of years.
I guess I'm enlightened. I think I'm informed now. It's a good discussion. Thanks, Aaron, for spending the time to explain to a noob how all this works. I'm certainly quite interested in trying this out.
Thanks so much, Amin and Alex. Really appreciate your time.
All right, everybody. I hope we've answered. Aaron has answered almost all of my questions. I think the only thing for me to do now is to like actually try the thing out and see how it works. Try Luno out and see how it works. So I hope it has been informative for you as well. And I just want to remind you guys, we're also available on podcasts. So if you want to listen to us on any of your favorite podcast platforms, we're available. So all you have to do is just search for Sorry Chinchao Let's Talk About, and we're there. If you're listening to us on podcast, please do give us a 5-star rating, because that gets more people to listen to us. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up if you like the show. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And I want to know what you think of the show. If you have any questions about Luno and crypto, let us know in the comment section. We can reach out to Aaron and he can help answer those questions too. And also, please do suggest to us topics that we should cover in the next episode of Let's Talk About. Because we love to hear from you, and we love to meet industry people that you want to hear from. So let us know. Okay, that's pretty much it from me. This is me, Amin.
And this Alex.
And thanks for watching, guys. Catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.